Hello, everyone. I just thought I'd tell people a little bit more about myself. Well, first of all, my wife and I are really both lone wolves. Things happened in our life over 40 years ago that brought us together. I'll tell you a little bit about, look at it like this. My wife is a nurse. She's worked at the same doctor's office ever since she got out of nursing school. It's gone to the point in her career she hates her job. She works for two doctors, two physician assistants. She has to deal with 120 patients every day, and she is just sick of it. I've been trying to talk her into retiring, but she is very independent. I'll tell you, I don't know how most people don't realize. Like when I'm working outdoors, I enjoy the peace and solitude. A lot of people, a lot of people that I got to mute YouTube. I enjoy the peace and solitude. A lot of the people, most people have jobs, they work with other people. That would just get on my nerves. I enjoy working outside with my dog. It's just my dog with me, nobody else. 1 month out of the year, I have to be Mr. Personality to deal with these crazy Christmas tree customers. But the thing is, all my life, I grew up on a road. My father had a nursery because he got sick of teaching college. He bought a property and started growing nursery stock. When I grew up as a kid, it was a very rural road. There weren't any kids my age to play with at all. Hi, Marla B. Then the older I got, I met kids in school, and I just never fit in. Some kids made fun of me because, they thought I was a teacher's pet because of my academic scores. Basically, I never fit in with any crowd. Hey, you want to come up, Kenny Horga? I sent you the link. Basically, I've never been one that just goes along with the crowd. I've never considered myself part of any crowd, crew, or team. When kids got into high school, a lot of boys got into sports. Check your email. I never really was into playing any kind of team sports. That's why I got into bodybuilding and weightlifting. Yeah, did you get the email, Kenny Orga? It's like I look at things, I think, and I can't help it, from like a completely different point of view. In life, I try to look at every situation I'm in because there's three sides to every story. I try to look at everything from the third person objective. Some people just don't have the ability to look at it like that. So like I said, anytime there's conflict in people's lives, it's just like being a juror in a court of law. You got to look at what the defendant says. You got to look at what the prosecution says. Then you got to put everything together to figure out where the truth is and where the untruths are. And that's why I consider myself a lone wolf. I like floating around from one person's YouTube channel to another, and I hate to be labeled by anyone about anything. It's caused conflict with me and other people, but like I said, I just prefer my peace and solitude. Let's see. Whoa, Craig is here.
I got you before you turn my. Hey, do you
what?
like I'm
I just tried. Hey, listen, you want to see my tan lines?
Look at that, Jim. Damn.
Yeah, I am beat. I've dug out about 500 stumps, and I got at least 500 more trees to plant. Okay, I was saying months ago, I couldn't get an early start because it wouldn't stop raining. We need rain. We're supposed to get it Sunday. The ground has gotten bone dry. I had to give up rototilling about 2 weeks ago. The ground went from being too wet to too dry. We haven't had any decent rain since the 2nd or 3rd of April here. Allentown had an inch the other night, but I completely missed my area.
And we're living here in Allentown. Is that what you're talking about? Pennsylvania? Yeah, that's Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Allentown's about a little over 30 miles north of me.
Let me see that tan line again. You must have had some gloves on there, huh? Look at that.
That's from wearing my watch.
Oh, is that just the watch? All right, but your
because I don't have a cell phone. The only way I'm going to know the time is if I look at the watch, because Holly can't tell me the time.
It looks like you were walking around with your hands in your pockets all day, Jim. That's what that looks like.
Look at my head.
I know, but you got some good sun.
Well, look at this too. You can see
Yeah, I see.
it's a farmer's tan.
Got the farmer's tan. Look at
Yep.
now. Look, don't show too much. You're gonna make some of these women in the chat.
Yeah, it's
Ask,
always nice to see Marla be in chat.
hey, Marla, I
I
can't see.
think Kenny Orga's going to come up. I just decided the wife went to bed. Another thing, okay, my wife's work schedule changed a few years ago. Several of the doctors retired, and the one doctor bought out the practice. And if it wasn't for the fact that she has to start hours an hour earlier, I wouldn't have even got involved with anybody's YouTube channels because she'd be downstairs talking. I'd be talking her ear off.
Yep, I know what you mean.
Because with our work schedule, the weekend's about the only time we really get to see each other. My wife leaves at six o'clock to go to work, and she gets home some nights anywhere from quarter after 6 to quarter of 7, depending if there's an emergency. Because it's an ear, nose, and throat doctors. If somebody has,
Oh shit! Look who's here.
I know, County Worker, my favorite account.
I noticed him. I didn't even know he was here. I was about
Well,
to
blame it on
I
him.
snuck in, Craig. I snuck in behind your back. You didn't even see me come through the door.
I was about to start talking shit about you, Yorga, but then
Well, County Orga said I had to go live tonight. I actually sent County Orga. I don't know if you ever heard it, because I'm a big Moody Blues fan. One recording, it wasn't even played that much in the early 70s, is when the Moody Blues broke up. Justin Hayward and John Lodge did their own album called The Blue Jays.
oh, I didn't know.
Did not know that. I did. I'm a big Moody Blues fan, and one of my favorite songs I ever played in a band. It's funny because I'm not trying to take over your show.
Go ahead.
But when I played in the band, you know, you would think all my favorite songs would be the ones where I'm really tearing it up and everything. No, 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 no. I love playing Nights in White Satin. Stuff like that, man. Just groovy, just sappy stuff. Anyway.
Easy
Good.
rhythm.
Yeah, oh, I love that.
Did you know Justin Hayward uses a Yamaha acoustic for that?
There ain't no telling. There's so many acoustics out there.
I don't know which
I
model.
do know that my keyboard player met Justin Hayward, and he was horribly disappointed because he said he was a real dick.
Yeah.
Hey,
He said he was, you never know, man, who's having a bad day or.
My son was in an elevator, and I forget what country he was in, and the Moody's were touring, not at the same venue. And Justin Hayward's guitar tech gave my son a guitar pick that has his name on it.
That's
Really?
cool.
Isn't that though? And most people don't realize, and ride my seesaw, it depends on what kind of mood he's in. Justin Hayward uses the Telecaster, not a Stratocaster. And it amazes me how it doesn't have the twang in it. Like, you know, because guys use the Telecaster for a lot of country. There, people like David Gilmour used the Stratocaster for rock, but Justin Hayward can play the Telecaster, and it doesn't have that twangy sound to it the way he has the guitar tuned.
You can do anything with a Telecaster, and it's weird. You can do anything with a Telecaster, but nothing else sounds like a Telecaster. I've got a great one in the other room over here, man. I could show you. It's beautiful.
And you have a beautiful guitar collection.
I know.
And I love the sound of the ES335.
I have one. I had a 66 ES335 that it's one of those, you know, when you have a great car and you get rid of it, and then years later you're like, God, I wish I had that car back. I had a 66 ES335. Yes, I did.
I love the sound of that guitar. It's do you have the Bigsby on it?
No, I had the trapeze tailpiece.
Okay. Hey, Buffalo. Hey, somewhere in Texas.
The Bigsby was popular. Yep.
The Bigsby's were cool. The Bigsby's actually worked well too. Yeah, they work good, man.
I saw one a few years ago at Guitar Center, and I couldn't believe it was $10,000. The 335 with the Bigsby.
Man, they are crazy high now, man. Crazy high.
I could never be a musician in a band because if I had any musical talent, I'd have to be a solo artist, just being the way I am.
What would the name of your?
You don't get along with people, do you, Boswell?
No, Boswell. What's the name of your band? What would it be?
They're called the Boswells, but it's only one guy.
I have no musical talent. My father played violin in the Philadelphia Symphony Orchestra when he was a little kid.
Really? Well,
That's
that runs.
impressive.
Yeah, it probably
My
runs.
dad was teaching college. You can find his obituary. My sister read it wrong. He actually got his master's degree when he was 19 years old and taught physics and calculus at Villanova.
Jim, I have a feeling if you had a psychedelic experience, it would open areas of your mind that have been unobtainable, and there's going to be rooms of music, knowledge. Who knows what's in behind those areas, Jim?
You give me too much credit, but thanks.
No,
Y'all are killing me.
Well, doing my kind of work outdoors, my wife would never want to do it. She says it's too monotonous. It gives a person a lot of time to think about things.
yeah, I think you will had your hands in your pockets.
All right, let me ask y'all something since I got you here, both of y'all. Just what Boswell said. I used to go on this thing that I used to call lawnmower trains. If I'm on a lawnmower and the motor's running and you can't hear any music or anything, I would get into the deepest thoughts. Have you ever
Yes.
done that?
Yeah, I'd fire it up before I mowed the lawn because that's what Kid Rock said
Well,
to me.
that helps too.
I'd go behind the garage and fire it up before I mowed the lawn.
It happens to me a lot running the Kubota tractors.
You're getting the deepest thought.
You do
It's
get a
like
deep
philosophical shit while you're mowing the lawn, man. It's like, I mean, I do it. I don't know if anybody else does.
I get it on tractors when I'm out like doing big plots of land.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. It's called Yorga's Lawnmower Trends.
Hey, Susie Snowhead.
It's a tractor
Susie
train.
Snowhead.
No, I want to put my name on it so I can market it and copyright that shit.
Say Yorga's tractor trans because you want to be riding the thing when
What
you're.
kind of tractors does County Yorga have? Hey, K9 man.
He did have a riding tractor, but then he said, let me get the service.
No, but I still have it, and it's still pretty much brand new. It's a
Oh.
freaking Troy built, which means shit.
No, dude, believe it or not, that Troy bill will last forever.
Hopefully it will.
I'm telling you it will, because I had one. I mean, eventually it didn't last, Yorga, but it was
Well, they all wear out, man. I got
Yeah.
2 extras over here, man.
How old was the Troy built mower?
I was impressed.
But it beats me to death, man. And I think even Greg said, take some air out of the tires, man. Make it a little more coochie or something, you know. And I've just been too lazy to do that. But it's like it cuts good.
Put a bungee on it. That's what I was hoping. You'd bungee cord, some sort of attachment, so you'd be swinging like a swing.
Well, how old is that mower, County Yorga, the Troy built?
Man, like a year old, maybe.
Oh.
I had an Arians that I did this yard for 12 years, and it finally just kaput. You know, I tried to rebuild it and everything, and it kept breaking the keyway that was down in where the thingamadoo was. And I finally just said, somebody come and get this freaking thing, man.
I put mine out by the street. Some old man picked it up, and it's probably still open today.
Some old man picked it up.
Well, I do all the mowing except for around the house with my Kubota B7500 TDN. I've had that tractor for 21 years. It's got almost 7,600 hours on it now.
You have a relationship with that tractor. That's how
you do. It's a symbiotic relationship.
It's it'll be 7,300 hours pretty soon. That's a lot. That's a lot of hours.
Jim, all right, but do you go into that trance I'm talking about when you're out there just gooning and you have the sound of the motor and everything, and then you start getting into like quantum mechanics and physics and shit, man? I do that.
Jim,
more so when I'm mowing. If I'm using, I have a newer Kubota with a Land Pride rotary tiller. When I'm using that thing, I have to really keep my eye on what I'm doing because I don't want to.
I think so deeply on my lawnmower. I cured polio one time, and then I had to go check it out, and it's already been cured, but I still cured it one time.
Jim, my microphone. My mic. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Hey, who's in the chat, Jim?
Let's see. Camo Coral's here. Marla B's here. Susie Bedhead's here.
Camo baby. Marla B baby. Susie baby.
Susie baby.
I'm glad you went live tonight, Boswell. I was kind of bored sitting around here all by myself, and my cat didn't even hang around with me now because he's got a girlfriend somewhere.
I was enjoying the night off, but I said I better come up here with Jim.
I don't have any real news. I just decided to spontaneously do this and just
Jim,
people. It's like I can't help the way I am. It's like nobody knows what goes through anybody else's mind, but I enjoy the peace and solitude of working by myself. It's like my wife says I love the dog more than her. I've had 4 German Shepherds. I spend more time, unless I go out, I'm with the dog 24/7.
He loves the dog more than the wife.
That's what she says. She knows I love her more than the dog.
I don't know, man. You might have to consult her.
Yep. And that's Holly dog, huh?
It's Holly. Yeah, she's in the cage right now sleeping.
What was the previous dog that you removed? What's the name of the previous one?
The previous dog was Miss Heidi. She was like 28 inches tall, the way you measure the height. And the cage here is like 49 inches long. It was just barely big enough for her to lie down. And we have.
That's a big ass dog, because I do know a Marshall Stack, which is a guitar amp. The cabinet is 30 inches tall. So if you had a dog that was 28 inches tall, that's a big ass dog, man.
Her paws were as big as my wife's hands.
Jim, where was that measurement taken? You're supposed to take that measurement at the hithers, which is the shoulder blades of the dog. So not the head.
Well, this is the top of the back. Miss Heidi would have to duck to get out of the cage.
That's it. And that dog was 29. Yeah, you're right. That's right.
Did they make a dog freaking tape measure or something, man? I mean, you know.
At the dog shows. That's
what President Falcon. People were scared to death just the sight of Miss Heidi. She died almost 11. We had one named Saber, which was shorter but weighed about 95 pounds. She lived to be 14 years, 5 months. And the first shepherd I had, Fraulein, she died.
That's a long-living dog, man.
Love how he named it Fraulein.
Fraulein died suddenly. She had a tumor on her liver that burst at age 9.
Still got, that's pretty good amount of years, you know.
I like the name, Fraulein.
Fraulein.
I got her from a friend. My sister found her for me when friends of mine, we went to Mount Washington and we picked her up on the way back in Connecticut because my sister used to live in Connecticut.
Well, the mosquitoes are crazy here tonight.
Can I say something about German Shepherds real quick?
No.
I have friends. I do have a couple of friends I see every now and again. And they've always had German Shepherds, and one passes away, and then they'll go get another puppy, you know, whatever. These freaking dogs, man. I mean, they are. The first one that was female, we were scared to death of her. And then the next one they got that was male, and he was okay, but he was still just like nuts all the time. Yep. Now they got a new one that's female, and it's nuts all the time. And I'm like, you know, I love German Shepherds. The dog they have now is beautiful. I was the one that had the ring on the tail, but as it grew, the ring went away. They're nuts, man. They're crazy. I hate to say it, but they're difficult. And I've also seen people that only speak German to these dogs, and they seem to behave a little bit better.
Yes, they're German. Yeah, like aus means to let go.
Yeah.
The German Shepherds are shorter. They're closer to the ground. They got a really thick bone structure. Most of the German Shepherds in the United States, they're referred to by the German Shepherd snobs in Europe as American German Shepherds because they're taller and longer.
Yeah, these dogs get big, man. These dogs get real big, like wolves, man.
Well, when Miss Brady was a puppy, we had to give her. We were giving her 6 cups of dry food and a whole 13.2 ounce can of food a day for the first year. She was 60 pounds at 6 months.
Great day.
Her head was the size of a human.
Jim.
Yeah.
I didn't know if this microphone was on. I was beginning to think this microphone wasn't working.
I'm going to go get my glass of water real quick.
You need to cut it up a little bit there, Craig. You're there, but I can't hear you as good as I normally do.
Yeah, well, of course not, because I'm on a damn phone.
Alrighty then.
It's going to get hot, and it's going to freeze. And now the dog's barking at the pillow. Jim.
Yeah, I'm getting my glass of water.
Oh, good. You can still hear me. Now, look, I suggest whenever the work repairmen come over and Holly Dog starts to barking, you should yell like in your best dictator voice. Holly, say, stop making noise. Stop it, quiet down now.
And put a little fake mustache on.
It made my dog bark at me. Stop barking at me.
And what that picture of me, that's Miss Heidi, the day we picked her up from the Zook farm. We got her from these Pennsylvania Dutch people, and you would have sworn they were Amish.
You would have sworn those dogs were Amish, wouldn't you?
It was a local farm about maybe 15 miles from us.
How dare you talk about German Shepherds like that, Mr. Boswell? That's the end of a Sharpie, by the way. But it makes a great Hitler mustache when you need one. I could probably stick it through my nose somehow.
Where'd you get that?
Off a Sharpie.
Oh, it's a Sharpie.
How much that cost? Where'd you get that from?
I love animals. I look at it like this. I've never found a dog that I didn't like, even the ones showing their teeth. Because if you give them time, they'll make up with you. Then dogs are actually God spelled
out. Dog I didn't like.
Even one biting at my pant leg.
Even that one that like bit my calf out of my leg that one day.
We were at
73.
Yeah, we were at a bonfire the other night. My buddy has this dog that is notorious for biting everybody. And my cousin was like, yeah, that dog bit me and all my kids. Because he's got a bunch of kids. So it's kind of funny. The dog has really bitten all of the children in his family.
One of my best friends I grew up with had a dog named Bootsy that killed everybody's cat. And I was a cat guy. You know, it's like, you know.
Really? Wait.
Yeah, it killed everybody's cat.
Well, if you're a cat, are a different type of animal than dogs.
Ate the pigeons and the chickens, and then they took a nap in the middle of the street.
That did happen.
Okay, it's harder to trust. I never had a cat. We've only had dogs. It's hard. I just can't trust a cat like a dog.
The good thing about that, Craig, was we found all the notes that were out there from the carrier pigeons. We'd find it like a severed leg and a note on it going,
help. We're being attacked by 2 black dogs.
I agree with buffering. An Australian Shepherd is smarter than most people. If their dogs are innocent, they will give you their undying love.
Help has not come.
Craig, how can I turn your voice up?
I don't know, because wait, let me take this rubber off my phone. This thing is preventing me from
having rubber on his microphone.
I'm going to have unprotected speech with you now, Jim. All right, Jim.
I just caught something, Craig. Damn you.
Hold on. I'm about to.
Stacey Bedhead, you're right. Dogs don't get on the counter. Actually, when Heidi was full grown, she could eat off the kitchen table, but she didn't.
Hey, did you say we have somebody here named Stacey Bedhead?
Stacey Bedhead.
That's a great name.
Yeah. Now, I've been to people's houses over the years.
She's good looking, but she wakes up with bad hair every day.
Oh,
I've been to people's houses over the years. One year we went to a party. It was the parents of one of my son's classmates in high school. I'm petting this cat, and all of a sudden, this cat decided it was going to attack me with no forewarning.
Oh yeah, that's how they are.
No, I just think it's you, Boswell. I don't think there's anything wrong with that cat.
The cat was sitting there all chilled, and all of a sudden,
I wouldn't mind having a horse, but I don't have a barn. And what would I use a horse for? Except for the manure.
Jim, you should get a horse.
You should get a horse right up to the mountains and quit bothering people.
You should look into a horse, Jim. No, think about transportation costs with the way fuel is going. A horse wouldn't be a bad idea, Jim.
Or a zebra. I hear there's one loose out there somewhere. I could ride him.
It costs a lot to feed horses. A bale of hay is going for $5 to $7 around here. One bale of hay.
Jim, I'm in my freezer right now. And I'm not lying to you because my phone's going to freeze. You want to see ice cubes?
I do.
There they are.
It's a little dark to see the ice cubes.
Well, I don't have a light burnt
Always
out.
a complainer.
You're not in the same part of your kitchen as you normally are in a live stream.
Well, I'll show you my kitchen, Mr.
My
Boswell.
studio's over there. I do have cabinets with severed heads in them.
I got one.
I got jars of olives.
Mm. Do you have some Chiholo sauce?
I got pretzels, Jim.
Chiholo.
Yeah, I have some pretzels in the evening. Holly likes her pretzels.
I think got some mustard, baby. Some mustard.
Got a puppy. I got a watermelon, Jim. You want to see the watermelon?
I have a fortune cookie. Should we open it up and see what the hell it says?
Should I cut the watermelon, Jim?
If you want.
No.
How old's a fortune cookie?
What is the age on that?
I got it about a week ago, but I got it from Chinese people, so it's probably like,
Was
I don't
it
know,
delivered?
2009 or something.
Yeah, those never go bad.
Was it delivered by the Ding Dong guy?
Huh?
Was it delivered by the Ding? But was it delivered?
Yes, Ding Dong came back.
Ding Dong
I'm
guy.
glad to hear that.
I can't
The
get the
Ding
bit
Dong
up.
guy.
Hey, Rubberneck R.
No, he's already been busted for being Ding Dong.
Ding Dong.
Damn, they make these things in China. I can't even get into it.
Kinda. Jim, I didn't even dress up for your show. I'm very sorry.
Well, here.
I'm not dressed up either. Yes,
That's it.
charming. Actually, I heard on Fox Business, one head of cauliflower in Canada is $8. Can you believe that? One head.
You know what's weird about cauliflower now? That they have cauliflower crust, and it's all like the new rage and it's safe for supposedly low carb. It's really got high carbs. But anyway, it's raised the price of a pizza even. If you get a cauliflower crust, your pizza is going to cost more.
I don't like cauliflower. My wife, she makes cauliflower soup with it. I much prefer broccoli, but I can't believe the price of produce in Canada from what I saw on Fox News and Business.
It says, now these are words of wisdom from Confucius right here. Take chances, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Yeah, it's right. But you're supposed to, the thing is, every fortune cookie, you always end it with in bed. Did you know that joke? In bed.
Oh.
So, let's try it again. Take chances, you'll be pleasantly surprised in bed.
Ah, that makes more sense.
That's how they work.
In bed, boy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Getting a beach warming is in Florida. $15, that's a hell of a lot for watermelon.
Jeez.
When I went to see, and I told y'all about this, when I went to see Napoleon Dynamite, played the movie, and then the real guys came out on the stage and everything, I went and got 2 bottles of water for me and the girl I was with. And she wasn't my date. She just somebody with me. They were $4 a piece for a bottle of water. Man. I was like, are you kidding me, man?
That's cheap.
Again,
That's how they get you, Yorga, with the drink.
they got me.
Think about every restaurant you go to. That's what really gets you. You're like, what? How do we spend so much? It's the drinks.
When I'm not working outdoors, I have a half-gallon Coleman water jug, and I freeze water and makes blocks of ice because to quench my thirst. I have to have my water ice cold.
I can't imagine what it takes to quench the thirst.
I don't know how people. When I was a kid, my dad always had. It wasn't plastic. He had an empty milk container full of water. It's inherited. I don't know how I would have survived without modern refrigeration. Hey, True Blue One, good to see you.
Oh shit, Jim! I dropped the phone. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All
You're
right.
still with me. How do you hydrate a Boswell? That's what I don't know, man.
We have a dehydrated Boswell.
You want to hear a story about Holly? Okay, she does this in the house in the winter. She hardly drinks any water. Then around 4 o'clock, it's like every 5 minutes, she's back and forth for an hour, just drinking water. I never saw a dog do that.
You know what though? Our puppy has been drinking a lot of water, and then we were wondering what's up with all this water, but it drinks a lot of water.
But it's always around between 4 and 5 o'clock.
This dog's probably like all the time. We're going to the vet tomorrow, so we'll see. It's a puppy though.
How big is the puppy now?
How big is that puppy, you think? I don't know. He's heavy. Yeah, he's gotten a lot bigger.
I hate to tell everyone I had to go to the dentist this week.
Uh-oh. What'd you have done?
Well, tooth number 5,
What?
I think it's an incisor, was bothering me. It was sensitive to hot and cold. My dentist, who's also my friend, because he's the one that cited the scope of my Remington 870, he takes an x-ray and he says, Jim, I can't find anything wrong. He said, he put me on a prescription of prednisone. He said, if it doesn't calm down, you ought to have a root canal. Then I'll put a crown on it.
Oh.
And the thing is, okay, if you figure getting a root canal will save a tooth, figure when you have a root canal done, they're really not taking the root out. They're taking the nerve out, and they take the pulp out that's, having a problem where there's an infection, replace it with a man-made material. But my oral surgeon told me, he said, yeah, a root canal is just a short term. If you take a healthy tooth and just do a root canal on it, people don't realize the tooth loses its blood supply and it becomes a dead tooth. Because when an oral surgeon pulls a tooth that went bad, it usually comes out as one pull. Any tooth that had a root canal, they got to chip away at those teeth because they become brittle.
Ah.
Unfortunately, I know so much about dentistry, and it's just not me. It's my wife. After my wife was pregnant with her son, she had to get porcelain veneers on all her teeth. You don't even believe what that cost over 30 years ago.
Oh, that's a bet. It's probably a lot. I don't know. Yeah,
unfortunately, I know a lot about dentistry.
Well, her teeth started developing cracks, and the doctor said if we don't put veneers on them, they're all going to go bad. So it's like we spent more money that year on her mouth than I think the mortgage.
You know what? You said cracks. You reminded me of a story we were talking about earlier where this guy fell into a crevasse. And the only way to get out was to go down. So he just kept going down, and he finally found a hole out.
He found a hole. That's right.
Found a hole.
All right, somebody just said, 2Blob1 just said, Yoga, may I ask you a question? Did you like the music of my husband's favorite group, EL? I can't tell if it's ELO or what.
It's an ELP, the Senior Electrolyte Orchestra.
No, but there was an ELP as well.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Man,
That is.
I've got a funny Emerson, Lake and Palmer story, man.
Why don't you share it with us and everyone in chat?
ELP, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Oh, and Camel Carl. It was because it was Carl Palmer was the drummer of that band. And so I got this buddy of mine. We're still in high school. I swear, man, 1977. I'm going into a yoga story here about concert. And I can't remember who opened up for him, but the friend of mine I went to the concert with was hammered, man. I mean, to the point of, he's bad off. And again, I can't remember who opened up. I think it might have been, I can't remember. But they had the best opening. It was, ladies and gentlemen, and the stage is black. And they said, Emerson, pow. And the light came on him, Lake and Palmer. And it, was just up lights, boom, boom, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And right when he said Palmer, the friend I was with, and we're on the floor, he yaks, man. He throws up, man, all over the fucking place. Right?
Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emerson, Lake, and Ralph, Did
it come out of his nose, too?
Oh, it came out of everything. And I left him, man. And I went up and I found some girls that I knew. It was like 5 or 6 girls I knew. They're all hot, and I'm sitting with them. And they're like, I thought you came over with Bobby. And I said, yeah. I did come over with Bobby, and they said, "Where's he at?" And I said, "Look down on the floor. You see that area where there's nobody around, but that one sick guy that's down." because everybody went whoop. And all these girls gave me a load of shit for leaving him down. What am I supposed to do? Give him mouse to mouse or something, man? I don't know what to do with him, man. So they kicked me out, and I had to go back down there and be with Bobby. But it was like, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Emerson, Lake, and it all went everywhere, and it was horrible. And I had to get him home, and it was terrible.
What age did you start playing guitar?
11.
I think you were. Hey, Garrett's here. I think you were kind of a ladies' man when you were younger.
You think?
Well, you figure girls were attracted back in the day. Girls were attracted to the guys in bands.
Why do you think I played guitar? It was for girls, man.
We want to hear a story. When I think it was 1968, my oldest sister, insisted her and her friends go see the Monkees at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Well, they hated the opening act.
I know that tour. Keep going. I know what you're talking about.
The opening act was Jimi Hendrix.
They were with Jimi Hendrix because they played here in Richmond with Jimi Hendrix opening up. Yeah, keep going.
Well, you figure it was just like seeing the Beatles. These girls are screaming, and it's like I still don't get that. Why would these girls just scream?
I don't know. My oldest sister went to see the Beatles and this was during that time you're talking about. She went to see the Beatles on their very first American show, which was, believe it or not, in Washington, D.C. And this is right before they were on Ed Sullivan and all that stuff.
That was like 64.
63-ish, 64-ish. Well, they were on, I'll tell you, they were on the TV in February 9th, 1963 at Ed Sullivan. How I know that, but she went to see him. She was 11 years older than me. And she was always squared away and everything. And she went to go see them, and she came back. And I said, and I'm still a little boy, man, but I was into that shit. And I'm singing all these songs and everything. And I said, what was it like? She said, I couldn't see them. I couldn't hear them. This is Washington, D.C. They didn't have the PA to really put the music out. They didn't have, it was too much, man. And yeah, all that screaming and stuff. And so the Monkees came out, and they were still doing all that shit,
How big was the venue? Was it like a football stadium or like a concert hall?
It was the one that she went to, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it, but it was some concert hall in Washington, D.C. You could look it up online. Their very first gig in America. They got all the pictures of them coming over on the plane and coming out of the plane and everything. It's the Beatles, man. I mean, she went and saw them. And she came home, with this, what do you call it? A program from that show. And it was all glossy, very beautiful photos, everything, but it was like a magazine. Yep. And I laid around for years when I was a little kid looking at this thing, and it just went away. Somebody found that thing in my family and took it, and and God only knows what that would be worth right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where it is.
I used to save. I saved the last concert my wife and I saw was the Moody Blues at the Valley Forge Music Theater in the Rand. It was a venue that had it seated 3,500 people. They tore this place down and put a giant grocery store in. All the walls and ceiling were covered with low density polyurethane acoustic foam. It was basically like being in a recording studio. It was the best concert I ever heard. I've been to the Spectrum in Philadelphia, heard Genesis, Styx, Ted Nugent, Blue Oyster Cult at the Tower Theater, and the quality of that was awful compared to the music theater. When we heard the music, it sounded almost like you were hearing you were hearing their studio albums live, even though they changed the songs a little. When
I went out and started actually recording in the late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. Everybody had this thing with recording studios where they tried to put stuff on the walls and dampen it up and make
Yep.
it everything just like, and it actually kind of ruined some of the recordings. It would be better to record in a room like I've got here with wood paneling and everything. And there's a little bit of bounce back. You know what I mean? You'd be way better off. They kind of got goofy on that shit.
What instrument did it affect most? My son says when he's done stuff with the bands he works with, people hate compression, but the only way to get the drums to sound correctly accurate is to compress them. If you don't compress the drums, it almost sounds like you're in a cave, the echo, because of the first arrival of the sound.
I personally think, because I'm old school, that a whole band should get together in a room similar to this, that's just wood, and just play the damn song and record it best you can and see what happens. Because they used to separate me. They would put me in a little booth, just for your guitar stuff, and I never was happy with that sound because I felt so compressed, so isolated from the other guys and everything. You know what I mean?
That's what they do at church. At church, they put the drummer behind this glass box or plexiglass box,
Sometimes you have to do that, and that's because of the cymbals, because the cymbals cut, man. They freaking, so I get the plexiglass thing around a drummer. I hate it, though. I do. I hate that shit. That last church I went to, it was only 2 or 3 weeks ago. They had a drummer on electronic drums, and drummers hate them. As a guitar player, I love them because you can dial them in. They're all electronic, and you can every single. You don't have to separate this cat, from everything else because he's making so much noise. You can dial all that shit in, and I love it, man.
Wait, you're familiar with the MIDI Blues Studio? The Other Side of Life. That's all electronic drums.
No, I'm not familiar with it, but I'm okay with it,
Because my son, he's aware of this stuff more than I am. Hey, Kaiser says, because it sounds too perfect. When you hear the percussion go from the left speaker to the right speaker, the only way to get that mirror sound is with the electronic drums.
I like that because I've been fighting with drummers for all my life, man. And it's funny because drummers don't like electronic drums, but as a guitar player, I freaking love them because you can dial it back. You can dial everything back, where it's just the drums, the cymbals, they sound good now, man. I mean, damn. Those things have been around since the 80s, man. Yeah, I think I love them.
Well, you figure, okay, a person, if you hear a really good audio system, one ought to hear a sound stage where it sounds like the drums are behind the guitar and the guy singing. Do you know what I mean?
Somebody just said, Yorga, do you remember a place called Painter's Mill in Maryland near DC? No. The answer is no, but I've played up there a lot. Played in DC a lot. I've played in Maryland a lot. But I don't remember the name of that certain club or whatever it is. I don't remember it.
Well, in Philadelphia, the Rolling Stones, Peter Frampton, that's where they had Live Aid at I think it was JFK Stadium. That was the worst place to ever hear a concert. It was outdoors where they played college football, a place that could actually tore it down. They could seat 100,000 people. Everything was just distorted. I went there once.
But that happens sometimes, man. I mean, if you're a band and you're going to do a gig, you've got all these gigs lined up, and then one of them goes south, sound-wise, the band's got nothing to do with it, man. The Richmond Coliseum, it was notorious for terrible sound. Where the Hampton Coliseum, you could drive another 100 miles this way, was great.
Well, part of it at JFK, because I think RFK Kaiser Sosas in DC, if they haven't torn it down.
Yeah.
The big problem is most of the sound people are hearing at these shows. It's the PA system at the venue. It's not the band's equipment they're hearing.
Do you know what, man? I used to work. I know this might sound boring, but I used to work for this company called Backstage. When I wasn't gigging, I was helping put up PA and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't know, we did like a concert for the Richmond Symphony, and the PA is up at the stage, and then like, geez, I don't know, 40 yards out, there was another PA, and that's what they called the delay stack. And the delay stacks actually were timed because your ears, sound is like 800 miles per hour, which sounds very fast, but it's not. So instead of getting all the echo, they would throw these delay stacks up, and they were timed into the PA to. Does that make sense?
Well,
Where
the problem
the
is
people that are way out there, they don't get the echo. They got the, yeah, it was freaking cool, man. It was cool as shit.
Well, one of my books have it. I used to use it to calculate enclosures for transmission line speakers I designed. You know what the speed of sound is at sea level. I understand what you're talking about. What the sound coming from some of the speakers are not. You're not hearing at the same exact time as the others. They're out of sync. There's a delay in the time.
That's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying. They put these delay stacks out there that were actually kind of out of sync, but they made everything sound good if you were way, way back, you know?
If you're in the wrong area, you figure when you're at any PA, when you're at any concert venue, it's going to sound better being close to the band. When you're up in the nosebleed section, you're hearing the venue's PA system. It's just like loudspeakers. People don't realize you want to hear the tweeter, the mid-bass driver, and the woofer at the exact same time. And if you don't hear them at the exact same time, everything is out of phase. You want to hear sound at zero phase, which means there's no time delay between the high frequencies, mid-range, and the low frequencies. That's why the speakers I've designed have sloped front cabinets, so you hear the tweeter and the mid-bass driver.
You're totally right. Where's Craig? Did he fall asleep?
I totally passed out. Y'all have been talking, and I couldn't even get a word in edgewise.
Now it's your time.
I've just been enjoying the conversation. I'm glad I don't have to talk. It's great.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to do the news. Plus, the thing is, I've been going to bed earlier because I need to get up early to get this work done.
All right, let's go to bed.
No, not now, but I'm saying I can't be up after midnight anymore. Because if I don't do the work here, it's not going to get done.
You could take a day off, Boswell. Oh.
Well, I took the morning off to get my prednisone prescription filled. Then I stopped at the beer place and got 2 cases of Dab.
Cases?
Man, that prednisone makes me feel like Superman, man.
No, that should be good mixing the prednisone with the beers.
With 2 cases of beer, Craig.
Well, I'm not gonna. That'll last us a while. I just have 2 beers at night.
That will last us a while. You're killing me.
I'm hearing voices out here. It's very strange.
Oh, really? Like outside, must be them pussycats there.
No, I think it's the neighbors down the street are having some sort of conversation.
Maybe they're voices in the sky. That's a Mighty Blues song. Voices in the Sky. From In Search of the Lost Chord.
He knows every song.
He knows everything.
Moody Blues, he does know all about them.
Yeah, Mike Pender passed away last week. He was 82.
You know, another favorite one I used to do was Tuesday Afternoon, and I played that on a. I still have the guitar. It's a 12-string electric Stratocaster. But it would just start off with Tuesday Afternoon. Oh, I love that.
I've got Mighty Blues bootlegs. The best one was it's called Starlight Sojourn. It's got the best version of The Actor, where they have the orchestra playing it.
Have you ever heard a song they did called "Forever Autumn"?
Yeah, Justin
I
Hayward.
named I named my daughter after that. Her name is Autumn. I named her after that song by the
Justin
Moody Blues.
Hayward did that in the War of the Worlds.
The War of the Worlds. You're right. You're
Yep.
exactly right.
And I have, besides bootlegs, the one live from Red Rocks and live from the Royal Albert Hall.
I like Red Rocks. Red Rocks concerts. I love watching those.
It's good. It's a little, there's a little harshness to it because of the rocks, believe it or not.
I
Reflections.
think it sounds pretty
It
darn
does sound
good.
pretty good. I like the version. I'll tell you, one of my favorite songs is "Ride My Seesaw" because Justin, when he really jams, the studio version is good. The live version, I prefer the guitar.
I don't know the song.
Ride my seesaw. You can take my old schmeckle down on a seesaw, baby.
I have several versions. I have one of the bootlegs on my video that
A bootleg. He recorded it
A
under his
bootleg of
trench.
Riding My Seesaw.
He recorded it under his trench coat with one of them big block.
Listen,
Like,
YouTube can't
like
do anything with the
rerun.
copyrights because their algorithms can't find where it came from.
It was a Doobie Brothers concert.
They laugh a lot.
Remember that? You remember when rerun? He bootlegged the Doobie Brothers. It was during the episode of What's Happening
I love that show.
with Shirley.
Yep.
With Shirley.
There's
Shirley.
31 people watching us crazy guys here.
How many?
31.
Are they crazy?
Either that or extremely bored, or else they love us.
Or they fell asleep and they just left it on. Oh, now it's gone to 31. We lost somebody.
They awaken Trillium.
Ride My Seesaw by the Doobie Brothers, recorded by rerun from What's Happening.
I can't do it with my truck. You know what I used to do for decades when I had an 85 Chevy pickup truck? I had a set of home-built speakers that I fit behind the back seat and played CDs all afternoon. If I did that for a half an hour with my 03 Chevy Silverado, the battery goes dead because of all the computer garbage they have in these vehicles.
Well, Jim, let me ask you this. Were those 4 ohm or 8 ohm speakers?
Well, they were 8 ohm, but it doesn't matter.
You were
People
breaking the
don't
rules,
know.
Jim. Jim, you were breaking the rules. Wait, no, or am I wrong? No, it's reverse. 8 ohm for audio in car, right?
Well, it's 4 ohm in car, but the thing you got to remember.
4 ohm in car. See, you were breaking the rules. Damn it, Jim.
The thing you got to remember, 4 ohm is harder on stuff because there's less resistance in the circuit. People don't realize that.
No, I realize it. 4 ohms is damn near a dead short. I mean,
What people don't realize,
it's getting close.
without getting too technical, most of the speakers people listen to have a parallel circuit for the crossover. They don't use a series circuit. Look at it like this: with a parallel circuit, you're splitting the voltage. If you have a tweeter, a woofer, and a mid-bass driver, you're splitting the voltage 3 times. With a series circuit, it amazes me the number of people that couldn't figure this stuff out. They used to criticize an old friend of mine, Bud Irving Free, that had a loudspeaker company. With a series circuit, you're not splitting the current between the drivers. You're splitting the frequencies between the drivers. A series crossover is more amplifier friendly than a parallel crossover, and most speaker companies won't use this type of crossover because they don't understand it. And anybody can figure this stuff out that can do physics if they read all the old audio engineering society.
As long as you can figure it out, you can do physics, baby.
Jim, did
Yeah.
Jorga just float away and then float back into the screen?
Do you know, and you probably do know this, Mr. Valvo, most of my speaker cabinets are 16 ohms.
Really?
Yep, 16 ohms. Marshall.
Why?
I don't know why. I don't know why they do it like that, but most Marshall cabinets are 16 ohms. And if you've got an 8 ohm setup head and you put it in 16 ohms, you're going to blow the freaking amp up, man. You have to have all that stuff messed up, man.
I have my power sound monoblock on its own separate circuit to the service box. I mean, I would never. This thing, it's like 2 amps in one. Each side of the amp has a 1.2 kilovolt transformer.
We're losing all the women here.
What maximum output? It'll draw 30 ohms of current, and I would never do that. But just to be on the safe side, I have a special circuit for that in the basement.
Jim, you lost me at the doctor's name. Who was the scientist? What was his name? Bud somebody?
Well, I knew a guy. He was from Philadelphia, Bud Irving Freed.
Bud Irving Freed.
Irving Freed. If you look up Freed loudspeakers, most of the stuff on the internet, I have links to it. It's stuff I figured out everything the guy did, and some people can't understand it. With transmission line loading of the speakers, with the use of series crossover circuits versus parallel. Actually, in 1993, I went down. He relocated his business to Norristown, PA. I went down to his business to buy some Hikifon tweeters. And while he was gone, and the guy that took over, he wanted me to buy the speaker company because he knew I figured out his stuff. And I don't want. It's like I can't do everything. I couldn't be having a tree farm on this property and another family member's property and operate a loudspeaker business at the same time.
Guess what, honey? I'm doing these Christmas trees, but I just bought a speaker company, baby.
Dude, you know what you need to make? Somehow make a Christmas tree speaker.
Boswell 2000.
That would be revolutionary.
And all Christmas songs just come out of this Christmas tree, man. I'd buy that shit, man.
I've gotten on hot water being on audio forums, talking to people that think they know everything, and you start talking to them about this stuff, and it's beyond them. It annoys me. People buy computer programs to design loudspeakers, and they don't understand how any of this stuff really works. I'm an expert designer. Read some physics books. Electronics hasn't changed. You figure the engineers that worked for Metro Goldwyn Mayer Studios, back in Hollywood in the 1920s, everything that's been done on audio, they figured out all the math, Zobel circuits.
You know something too in Hollywood that I would love to be in on? I would love this to be my freaking profession. Do you know what Foley is? Foley.
Foley.
Foley. That's when, like, you just go watch an old Three Stooges short or video, and every time you hear like a pan go, like somebody hits somebody in the head and it goes boing, and it was a freaking pan or something, yeah.
Yes.
There's somebody in the background making all those noises and stuff, man, and it's called Foley, and that was a whole industry, man. Foley.
I remember that. Well, for movies, they would do.
Oh God, I want to be one of them guys so bad. Oh man.
Yeah, but York, I remember watching specials on that where they'd show them watching the movie and they're making the sound of glass breaking or whatever.
Exactly. And people running, you know, you have to take shoes and put them on a board.
You know what I've been fascinated with recently? And a lot of these young folks are doing it. They're doing miniature photography. So they're doing miniature sets and using it. Like they have one kid who's like filming old classic cars in a barn, but it's all miniature. And he adds like spray to make it look smoky. And it looks life size the way he is projecting it. It's pretty cool.
I love that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's like taking an old train set, you know, people would set up around the holidays and videotaping it. It's just like the Addams Family. With using the camera, the angles, they make it look like it's a real train, but when it's just a little train set.
Exactly. I'm going to start tricking people. I'm going to do my whole show in miniature. It's not even going to be it's going to be a little fake.
No, but you know, it don't get me involved because it'll end up being a Godzilla movie.
I'm gonna make a little fake Jim Boswell and a little fake Count Yorga.
I think it should be Boswell versus Godzilla.
I'm gonna make a diorama. That's a great idea. I'm gonna make a diorama of us on a panel.
I bet Count Yorga watched Ultraman when he was a kid too.
Oh, he watches it now.
I watch it now. We didn't get it when I was a kid. We didn't get that.
he was just watching Ultraman the other day.
I did. That was a good movie, man. It wasn't bad.
Hayata and the Beta Capsule.
Did you ever watch Johnny Sacco and his giant robot?
Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, Johnny Sacco and his giant robot.
I don't remember Johnny Sacco.
Yeah. Johnny Sacco and his robot.
That was on TV around here when I was in 6th grade.
It was like Speed Racer, but live action.
Really? Wow. All right, Jim. I've been here for an hour. I got to go to work in the morning.
Yeah, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks, everyone. I just decided, because Kenny Yorga sends me an email, because I sent him an email with a link to the playlist to the Blue Jays by Justin Hayward and John Lodge. And he said, do it live tonight. And I thought, well, you know what? If he hadn't sent me the email, I never would have done this tonight. So
I'm glad.
Well, you know what the weird part is? I don't even have email, Mr. Boswell. So I don't know who that was. That was my doppelganger.
That wasn't even him.
It wasn't even me.
okay, thanks everyone for watching. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. My voice is a little, I'll tell you, the pollen's getting to my throat. Nice. Have a good night, everyone. Love you.
Love you all.
Love you all.
Bye.
Till next time.
Till the next time.